Okay, thank everybody for coming. We're going to get started with our February meeting of the Conway Historic District Commission. We have a quorum, so we're going to be able to proceed and end and everybody go home how they need to go. The first thing, I'll go around the horn here with our names. I'm Steve Hurd, Chairman.
Marie Kaysen.
Margaret West. Shelby Fiegel.
Shane Lind.
Okay, all right. And the first order of business for us is dealing with the minutes from last time. If everybody got those in their packet and has anything to say about it, like yay, nay, or in between?
Motion that we accept.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Any discussion? Everything looked okay? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good. All right, before we get started, we have two public hearings for the overlay, the Old Conway Design Overlay District. Just a note on how we proceed. When I call you up for your application, all we ask, come to the podium to talk, the microphone will pick you up. But we need your name and your home address. That's just for the record. Our Conway, everything we do, all the commissions do that. So name and address, and then tell us about the proposal. We've got, y'all hopefully the applicants have seen the staff's write-up, which is what we have. It's got the recommendations, the pictures, all that stuff. But we need to hear it from you, and we may have a couple of questions, and I'll ask for anybody else to speak in favor of the proposal. And then anybody to speak in opposition to it. When that's done, then we bring it back to us up here, and we talk about it, deliberate, talk to the applicant, whoever it may be, and deliberate and deal with the ruling. So with that said, we have our first one is 1820 Duncan Street, exterior modification. Do we have somebody here to speak for that?
Good evening.
Hi there.
All right, my name is Terrell Austin. It's 1820 Duncan Street. My home address is 3735 Lazy Creek.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sometimes people just give us the address of the thing. If you,
Right.
it's against for the record for just posterity here. But thank you.
Okay.
Okay, what you got?
So, let's see here.
And just so you know, if I'm not staring at you, I've got the screen right here in front on the front of this, so that's where I can see what's back here.
I thought you were giving me the evil eye.
Yeah, no, I just can't look in the eyes. I can't just look down.
Okay. All right. So when I first saw this house, it was an old house that I thought had a lot of potential. It's something that I had been looking into doing for a long time, as far as taking an older house, making it kind of making it new, livable, and it was what I thought was the perfect house at that time. It was a lot of work that needed to be put into it. Some work unseen, others I knew going into it.
That's part of an old house.
Right.
You scratch the surface and it just oozes out.
Right. But altogether, it's a beautiful home, and I think it could really be great once it's all completed. So that's kind of the basis of that. Let's see here.
Have you seen the recommendations? Have you
I
gone through
have.
those? Okay.
Yeah, I have. I have the recommendations here.
Okay.
Look like there were 9 bullet points
Right.
as far as recommendations that they have for the house.
Yeah, it's again, a lot of it's pretty boilerplate for what is typical. You have any issues with any of them or questions or?
I do.
Okay.
There were several that I agree with, but so we're looking at number 1, where they say the windows need to be reopened and filled with windows to match existing size of openings. I did close windows, so I went in not knowing that I needed to go through this process.
Sure.
And this was the first time I've ever gone through anything like this.
You're not the first.
Right.
It happens. Yeah.
And kind of the changes that I made was prior to them coming out, so they really have no idea what it was like before. I have pictures of the house, what it looked like before. But the windows I did close. I did close several windows, and I plan on reopening basically all of the windows with the exception of a few. The couple that I didn't want to reopen, it just didn't make sense to me aesthetically. For the look that I was going for the, for the interior and then the exterior, just kind of matching up.
Right.
There was one, I don't know if you have it there. I don't see the picture here. I have the picture here if you want to take a look at it, but
We've got the drawings, elevations in our packet too. Can see, I'm seeing sizes on windows and
Right.
just location of them. Is that what you mean, or?
no,
photo of the house?
the windows that I don't want to reopen.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if that's included in what you have.
Okay. Can you, on the elevations, can you just kind of tell us which ones?
So if you look on that north elevation,
Okay.
there is a window, I guess, on the side facing, I guess, how
Okay,
to-
it's this upper left photo. Is it that one? That's the one you're talking about?
right, that room has two windows on both sides of the building. Had both,
Over here,
right, that one there,
the spare bedroom?
right. It had two windows on both sides of that building. Okay, the one on the left side, it butts up to that sunroom. It's flush with the sunroom, and I don't,
We've got plans too, so I think we can talk directionally here. I
Okay, where
believe.
it says shed, is that what you're calling the sunroom?
no, the sunroom.
Other
It
side.
says utility sunroom.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
Yep.
gotcha. I totally missed that.
Yeah.
I guess I have a question. So the
Yes.
windows that you don't want to reopen, are they on the back side of the
No,
house
so
only?
that one there, and then there's another one on the west side. I don't know if you have a.
We do.
So right here on the west side where you're looking at, I proposed the 4x5. That's my proposal. But there was another window right there in the middle of those on the west side
So
elevation.
there were three on, if we go back to the
West side
plan.
elevation. And you can kind of go
Oh,
back.
okay, if you go back, hold on. Go back to the, sorry, whoever. James,
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
So you can kind of
So
see
you're
it.
talking about that smaller window
Yes.
that's in the middle of the
Yes.
two larger ones?
Yes, and
Okay.
so the window here up front, on this first bedroom, right over here on this far right picture, that window is going to be reopened as well to the I proposed 4x5, just to kind of give it a uniform look, to match the front windows.
So the only one on that side would be the small one that you're proposing to close?
Right,
Okay.
right. Reopen up this first one to a 4x5 to match to that back window there, as well as to make that 4x5.
So two on that, like the drawing shows.
Right.
Okay.
And the back, that one you're closing up, what room is that?
The
The little one?
little one, that is a small bedroom. And it butts up to, the way the window sits, it butts up to the sunroom, like right up against the wall.
Okay, but does it have a way out? I mean, if it's a bedroom, is that the only window?
No, there are two other windows. So you see the one in the back, and then you also see, you see the one here on the back, the 2.8x4, and then you see the one on the front side of the, right here. I'm looking at the north elevation. So they have two windows.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it went from 3 to 2 windows, and you still?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
just
Yes.
just getting everything accounted for.
As far as, and this is a question more for James, as far as required amount of windows on that elevation of the house, James, do those two plus the one at the back, does that fill requirements?
I think if you're, see, I almost I was guilty. I think if on the west elevation, if the two windows remain open at their pre-closure ratio, and closing that one in the middle is not gonna be a problem.
Okay, that's what I
On
thought.
the back, it's
So
fine.
we
Yeah, the
typically
back
have
wasn't a big deal anyway.
per elevation, a percentage of windows. And, with existing windows, that's easy to hit, but take one away, it could mess with it, but you took away a small one, so expert guy here says we're okay with
So
that.
those are the only ones, the one on the back and then the small one on the side?
And then there was one upstairs where, let's see, I'm looking at my pictures here.
That attic is accessible, is good size?
It's decent size.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
good, okay,
yeah.
cool.
It's, let's see,
So you-
there was another looking, I don't know if can you pull up the pictures again for me? back elevations, the back pictures of it.
Oh, it's on the back still, though?
Yes, it's on the back.
If it's on the back, I'm good with,
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't care.
Yeah,
what we do.
again, that's very negotiable always, as far as the
Okay.
backside, but.
Okay,
I guess, and if you're talking about if it's at the second story,
it is.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
think that would make a difference anyways. Especially if you keep the larger window on the front,
Okay.
which you were planning to do.
Yes.
Okay, so I would make an update to that recommendation and say, when we do a motion, but just repeating back to you, that you're good to close the smaller window on the west.
West side, yeah.
And any back windows that
Okay.
you prefer, that you've discussed.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that clear? Is that okay?
It is.
Okay.
I do have a question about the resizing though. So looking at this west elevation, I think the front window where it's currently resized to 4x5, I believe, or going to be resized to 4x5 in my proposal. I think that was, I don't know, was it a 7-foot wide opening?
So,
As well as that spare section back
Was it
there.
a pair of windows before?
I don't know.
Oh, they weren't
I don't know.
there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
So,
More than likely it was, two double hungs together, but,
Okay.
that's,
I don't know, mine are
Well-
that big and I have that same size. When was this built?
37,
guess it's a little later.
1937?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's 20, so, my windows are that big.
Mine are 44 inches, one window, 44 inches wide by 6 feet tall. So, I'm used to the big openings in the wall.
Okay.
But,
So you're talking about, sorry, I must have missed something. Are we talking about you want to resize those windows?
Yes, as far as bringing them down to the 4x5.
So you want them to be 4x5?
so you're just gonna be narrow, not, the height.
So
is
the height
is
will be basically the
pretty much
same. Yeah, it's just as far
the
as,
width, Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the windows were gone, but for the most part, right? Not that they shouldn't be back like they were, but, sorry, I'm not talking to the microphone.
Probably shouldn't comment on that. So, because I am not sure.
Okay.
If the windows were gone, if they were removed at some point before approval.
Oh, okay, so the issue we're having is, we're looking at pictures of a house that was already,
Yeah, this is coming as a
Developed.
result of
Yeah.
a stop work.
okay. If the windows are gone though, I don't know what else,
Yeah.
much else we could do. It would have been nice to have the original
Yeah.
windows, obviously, but I assume you do not have those anymore.
I don't have any of
Yeah,
that,
they
no.
do not exist anymore. Okay.
But he's putting something back in.
Yes, I'm putting something back in.
So.
Yes,
Couldn't
It's-
you just as easily get the original size windows as the new size?
I'm not
I
sure.
mean, you're gonna have to buy new windows anyway.
Correct.
Is what I'm saying.
Correct.
So why not get the original size, keep the window ratio
Yeah,
up?
and that's something, I don't know if you've priced windows, a single double hung window at 4 foot by 5 foot may be, I'm not sure, maybe more expensive than a pair of windows that are more normal width, but, 5 foot tall, whatever. I don't sell windows, but that's, again, these days and times, there's no telling what anything's gonna cost. But,
Right.
I would venture to guess that those bigger openings were a pair of windows. That was pretty typical.
Okay.
And, we probably could find examples, but, so I don't know. I'm just discussing. I'm not saying you gotta do a certain thing, but I just didn't know if that was something, if you'd looked at it, you had windows in hand or what,
I haven't ordered any windows or anything until I went through.
But,
Just out of curiosity, why did you, and you may have said this and I missed it, but why did you
Right.
want to change the window size?
Honestly, I didn't know that it was in a historic district. And I didn't know a ton about it. So when I went in, I kind of had some expertise. One guy suggested that, hey, that there's a certain size in Conway, as far as building new houses, standards and things like that.
Yeah.
Certain size windows, will look good in a remodel.
Okay, but
So-
you didn't look at those and say, I don't like those, so I'm
No.
gonna change it?
No.
So
I never, like I say, there were several things that were boarded up in the house when I
Right.
got it.
So you wouldn't?
Some of those things I did close, like you'll see the front here, like I reduced that down. I had to take the whole wall out of the east side, basically. Resize some of those or close several of those. I plan on reopening those. But that west side, it was,
Right.
so I wasn't going in, with the mindset of, hey, I'm gonna take out these,
Sure.
100-year-old windows.
Understand.
So would you be opposed to keeping the original size of the windows?
I would have to get everything resized. It's more of at this point, it's more of a budget deal. If I have to do that to keep the project going, I'm willing to do it, but I just don't know what,
Yeah.
They're gonna be more expensive.
probably.
I'd-
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no probably.
Yeah.
I'd do this, so, yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be more expensive.
Okay.
But my question is, what are you going to do about your siding situation? How are you gonna close those up if you were to close them up? Were you gonna have that siding milled and replace that original siding?
So the siding is going to be hardy,
So you're just coming to cover everything?
right? Right.
That-
Go ahead.
When I drove by, I tried to look closely, and the siding looked like it was in good shape. Am I wrong?
It's not in good shape at all. It's not. You can see some of the pictures here where
Is it, and it's the teardrop shape, right?
Probably the beveled
Okay.
edge, is it more
No,
square?
it's the
It's
teardrop.
the
Teardrop. I
rounded?
can see that.
Okay.
And that's still made and it's easy to get. And I built a garage shop building that
Yeah.
my original house has that, and I was able to get it. So I'm just saying there are options.
Right.
To even if you had to patch some stuff and then cover with new, it would it's real close to the same dimension. Dimensions have changed in 70 years. But
Okay.
but still that's still an option. And again, it's wood, but the right paint, the right prep, that stuff, it lasts quite a long time, more than what it used to. Again, I'm just talking. I'm not telling you what to do. But
of course.
But so I don't know. What's the?
I would say just going back to the window size on the front, knowing that you haven't already ordered windows and that you're not so far into the development where I feel like it would be a huge issue to keep those original windows, and we conceded on, allowing the windows to be closed, and they've already been closed. I would prefer to keep the size as original, because that's kind of our intention as a group, is to keep these homes as historically accurate as
Right.
they were. So if you weren't opposed to that, I would prefer to
Okay.
keep them the
The
original
original
size.
size. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So- And that's
And it may
opening
be
up the two on the
cheaper
west
in the
side.
long run,
Right.
actually, when you compare those windows.
And that's opening up the two on the west side, right? The west side of the house. Those two.
Yeah.
The-
Yeah. Where you're. Yeah.
Right.
So is he reopening the ones on the front too,
Yes.
to the original size?
I was
Yes, sir.
primarily talking about the ones on the front. I don't know if I mind as much on the side.
I do, because.
But yeah, if we're making it, we
when you
might as well be
drive by,
consistent. Yeah.
It's not like this is back in the back behind the fence and you can't see it. That was taken from the street, I think. When you
Right.
drive by, that's what you see.
Yeah, and the idea is to open that to match the size of the front. So to kind of give it a uniform look instead of it being.
Yeah. It would.
so.
That would. Yeah. That's a good thing to do around the
Yeah.
corner.
Okay, so the front and the left windows will go back to original size, except for that one little one on the left in the middle,
It goes away.
and it
Yeah,
goes away. Okay, is that right? Is that what we're
Yeah.
West and south
saying?
Just to
elevations.
make you feel better, when I redid mine, I either had the choice of all the same size or keep my original, so I chose to keep my original. So,
Okay.
and that was 2013.
Okay. Okay.
So,
And they will all be double hung sash. just.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
So I agree with that point, so.
Yeah, and the 1/1 is actually more preferred, just because a lot of them are, but, you know, one paint over one, instead of getting the million things and all that stuff, especially nowadays, the snap-on ones are just, they look like
Yeah.
they've been snapped on, you
Yeah.
know, so the 1/1, it's clean, I mean, I've got 1913 house, and that's how they were built, you know, so it's been around a long time, you
Okay.
know, so.
Okay.
And it's, you know, less stuff to mess with too on that end.
Where are we? Bullet 3, I guess. So I have in my recommendation that the colors shouldn't make much of a difference on this one. I think they recommended the porch and the railings and everything to kind of match. I would like for my railing, I would like for my railing
That's
to
in
match as far as
material.
this coloring. Yes.
But the color, we cannot
Okay.
say.
Okay.
You
Okay.
do whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah. Materials will be the
Yeah,
same on
as
that.
long as the
Materials
materials
will be the
match.
same.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, why were you wanting to add railings? I mean, a lot of houses like this in this era, I mean, they didn't have them.
As far as banisters go.
Yeah.
If you look around, I guess some of the neighborhood, it would be very similar to the neighborhood
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I'm trying to save him some money.
oh, well,
Well, there's also a safety issue.
Yeah.
yeah.
Depends on what you're.
Yeah, I guess there's only 2 steps, and, I mean, the columns are close enough that you could,
And there was a
Your hand
porch
on it.
swing on there. I plan on reinstalling that porch swing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That'll be nice for you.
Yeah.
Are you planning to live at this residence?
No,
Okay.
I guess I'm not.
Okay, I was just
Oh, you don't
curious.
need that. We don't-
No, I was just curious
I'm
because
not.
like the railings, I mean,
Yeah.
that is a nice touch if you.
It is.
For safety and if you have someone who needs the support, that is good to have.
Okay. And I don't know if you see the front porch where it's been, I guess if you look down at the foundation, I guess it's been kind of roughed up there a
Yeah, I
little
saw
bit.
that.
So the idea on that was to go back and try to find matching brick as closely as possible and just kind of surround the house, any kind of openings,
Yeah.
including that back room with that similar style.
Okay. So trying your best to match existing if you can.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
And I
then-
did, and I might have spoke ahead of the discussion, but when we were talking about I do realize now that the third recommendation does say that the paint should match the existing wood column tops.
Right.
Did you say you did not want to do that?
Right.
Oh, okay.
I've got that scratched. What,
Yeah, I was about to say,
when
but I
y'all-
don't
when
have
y'all
a
get to the
preference on
point,
that.
I'll read an amended recommendation
Yeah.
from.
Yes, okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Obviously, the fascia and the soffit will both be hardy. If that's what I end up choosing for the siding itself, right?
Sure.
Roofing. So it's suggested shingles. So when I bought this house, it has a tin roof. And I've had it looked at, I've had it inspected, and with the exception of a few spots, I mean, it's, still in good condition. And I don't plan on replacing that. If there's areas that I need to patch up, I will patch with, like material, like for like material.
Right. I mean, that's, she's just gonna keep it.
As long as you don't remove it and put new down.
No,
I don't think
no.
that we could,
No,
if
it's
you
existing,
do,
it's just gonna-
if you do
it's
that though, it
already-
has to be replaced with shingles. But if you
Okay.
leave it as is,
Just
Yeah,
repair
we-
it.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that's,
And
that's
that's-
in the range of, we
Yeah.
call ordinary maintenance. And,
Yes.
that's not, if one side of the house that has to come off to be repaired, that's something. But, no, if it's just some patching and repairing, it's existing. We can't, metal
Mm-hmm.
roof, there's a few around, but they weren't done. And that's a modern
Yeah.
thing. And we kind of, aren't in favor of it. But, I mean, it's been there. It's not,
Okay.
it's part of the existing, part of the structure. We're, that's.
I
that's
would
no
just
problem.
strongly suggest whoever purchases this house from you, you make sure that they know that if they ever wanted to replace the roof,
Right.
they will have to come through this process. I think
Yeah.
in that way it helps in the end
It
if
does.
anybody
And
else
it
comes
would
in that.
have, honestly, it would have helped me a whole lot
Yes,
if I had.
yes.
Sure, well,
Note
sure.
on the
You
front
know,
end,
so-
yes,
Yeah, we
absolutely.
understand
But that's
that.
not your That won't
Yeah.
be for you to worry about.
Yeah, so like a future homeowner, if it's ever damaged and it has to be replaced, it has to be replaced with shingles.
Shingles, of course.
So let them know, or, you know, they should know that,
Okay.
you know.
Yep.
Shutters. There are shutters in the neighborhood. I mean, it seems like that's an issue that,
Yeah. I would venture to guess, every single shutter you see is bolted to the house.
right?
You look at the size of the window and the size of the shutters, they could never meet in the middle. They're not functioning shutters, and it's decor.
So if we propose functioning shutters, is that a possibility? That would meet the requirements of the width of the window.
Yeah,
So,
we're more open to that, and the problem is, in this region, in this part of the country, shutters were never needed. You know, it's on the East Coast, with the weather like it is, that's what they exist for.
Okay.
And so they became a decor thing, you know, and that's gone on since before, you know, I was around. I'm not the oldest here, I don't think, but still, maybe I am.
Okay.
Anyway, it's something that we had one not too long ago that wanted shutters, and they were just the drawing even had them so far away, they weren't hinged, they couldn't work. They were just gonna look cute, I was told.
Right.
But, you know, and, but operable shutters, those actually can work if they're needed, they can work. It's just that historically, we don't have a lot of, you know, real shutters out there.
Okay.
So I'm not saying we don't want shutters, but,
We don't
Yeah,
want
I mean-
shutters.
yeah.
Save you some money.
I mean,
Yeah.
if,
Only
Yeah.
operable.
I mean, if you really wanted to do that, this is just my opinion, again, I would be fine saying you would be allowed to put functioning shutters if you choose to, but still give you the option
Yeah.
to say, if you decide not to do
I would
that.
agree
Yeah.
with that. They
Yeah.
have to be actual working
They have
and
to
functioning.
work.
Right, that's where I was going.
But the thing is, the cost on those.
Yeah, I know. The
You'd be saving
thing
money
too
if you
with
did.
siding, you know, the composition of the elevation, the siding with the window that, you know, is in good shape, the typical trim, not just real thin, you know, trim like these houses had, it's, you know, it's really a handsome look. I mean, that's just me personally, I'm just, you know, but it's, the shutters, they just, again, they weren't, even our trim that's typical on the houses is they kind of mess with that. You have to bolt them into the
Yeah, I mean,
trim,
this-
you know, so that's why they're out past that and just stuck onto the house. And
I mean,
and
if this was gonna be a residence you were gonna live in and you wanted shutters and working shutters, that would be one thing, but I think,
just as a decor thing, that's where we don't
right.
Okay.
typically allow
And
non-working
again,
shutters.
save you some expense.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
HVAC, that's either going in the back
sure.
of the house or where you see it draw on the west elevation, kind of hidden behind that
right,
that front wall there.
tucked away.
Tucked away,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's normal. That's fine. Again, that's one of the things that's on every application, you know, it's just, that's on there, just so you know, you know.
Then that final room in the back,
Okay, the
the sunroom.
needing a foundation. Is that a room to come, or is that?
No, that's a room that's standing. It was in rough shape.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
So, I mean, that's beyond our purview, yeah, our jurisdiction. I mean, the city will have to approve, city code applies there, but it's a comment that we,
Right.
you know, we have, so, I mean, that's to be dealt with codes, you know, permit department. I mean, that's
Yeah.
beyond our, we can say do it, but it's not our enforcement of
Okay.
that, so. So just get that, all the Ts crossed and I's dotted for that one. for
Okay.
them. So, and there's permitting stuff that's gotta be done aside from what we say here anyway,
course.
so that's just part of
Of
it.
course.
So do we,
You mean to read?
yes,
read
please, let's read.
Amended conditions, okay.
Yeah,
Staff recommends that the application be approved with the following conditions. Windows and window openings will match the plans with exclusion of the west and south elevations where window openings will match the original size, excluding the removal of a window in the middle on the west elevation.
the little one.
the small window in the middle. All windows will be required to be 1/1. The porch and step railings shall match in materials. If siding for the structure is replaced, it must be replaced with wood or similar material such as hardy, LP Smart Side. The siding must have a maximum of 4-inch exposure to more closely match the existing narrow exposure. All fascia and soffits shall be repaired with wood or wood-like material such as hardy or LP Smart Side. No shutters shall be allowed. HVAC equipment be placed in a manner to prevent view from the street or screened by landscaping and fencing. And the rear addition shall be placed on a foundation that meets building code requirements.
You see that he took 6 off about the roofing, because that doesn't, it's existing, we have, that's out of our hand, that's done.
Do
Okay.
we need to say anything about the trim around the windows, that it be, like the wide original? That's not in here. Is that assumed?
No,
Or,
that's a great, I can, if that, you want that to be added, we can.
I
certainly add that.
would. I mean, there's so many windows that are going to be affected that if they didn't have the nice wide trim, that's going to look really skimpy.
I agree. What was your plans on that?
The wide trim,
Yes, what was your plans on the window trim?
follow guidelines on that. I have the guideline book, and I was just gonna make sure that it was,
Okay, good, that's,
Yeah.
so you're using the book, that's great.
And I will say, James, on recommendation 7, where we said no shutters shall be allowed, I'm fine with saying functioning shutters will be allowed. And I'll make a motion including all of those with, if you want functioning shutters, you can choose
as
to
an,
have
op-
them.
yes,
or-
as an option, yes.
or
I would like
not
to have
choose
it as
them.
an option,
Yes.
please.
And then with what James shared, including the trim as an additional recommendation.
Wide trim required around the
Yes.
windows.
That's my official motion.
So she made a motion with the amendments that as he read them, and adding
Trim
shutter.
and shutters,
The
yeah.
trim and functioning shutters.
Yes.
Agree.
Is that, everybody okay
Second.
with that? And it'll be written more coherent than what I just said.
Okay.
'Cause I didn't make the motion. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? And we okay? Okay. All's in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, sir. I'm
Thank you, sir.
excited to see this project. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure you're
Same
ready to
here.
get going.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, sir. You have a
It's
good night.
beautiful.
All right. Next one up is the, probably gotta get to the 1154 Donaghy Avenue, the exterior modifications. Oh, there you are. I just thought you weren't there when I looked down. You looked up. All right.
Nikki Thompson, 2759 Carl Stewart.
Okay. All right. What you got?
So it's another dream project. I've loved this house. My client is my husband this time, so that'll be fun. So really not asking to do a lot. I mentioned the windows. I've gone back over there. I think on my first time walking through, it's a little scary, so I didn't spend a lot of time in the house. I was kind of walking around it. And I think most of what's broken is more of the storm windows. And so I think I can actually save a lot of the windows.
Good.
More than I thought. And so I did have my window guy come out there, and I don't expect y'all to remember this, but when I did the big house on Caldwell, what he did, we had the old wood, window and just replaced the movable parts. And that's what I'm proposing to do on this one. So there is no window on that front, and I was hoping someone remembered what that looked like. I don't know when it got busted out.
If you look on Google Street View, it's the same pane size.
Is it?
As all the others, so it's just
Okay.
like a
So any of the.
6/9 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just broken out in a ton of little panes.
Okay. Gosh, I feel like I looked at that and it was just overgrown, but you were able to see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I
did.
Yeah, he went back several.
I went up and down the street and looked at several years.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to just, go back with that.
When was the house built, do you know?
I haven't spent a lot of time over there, so I apologize, you do not.
I just didn't know if in the paperwork of it, you knew. I mean, I'd venture to guess the 30s, maybe even the 40s, just by the style of it.
Based on in the report, I noted, based on the fact that it was surveyed by AHPP in 2003, it's probably strongly suggests that it probably was, or there's a good chance it might be a Silas Owens house, so,
Yeah.
just FYI.
Yeah. So if it's in the overlay district, and if we ever expand the Robinson district, it would just by that would be a contributing structure. So we,
Okay.
kind of want to maybe be aware of that.
I would like to remove that other awning. I don't even know where that other one that's laying on the ground, I can't imagine where it was.
It was over the front entry coming out,
Under the porch?
Where that dark stain
projecting
is,
from the front porch.
where the
yeah.
dark
Oh,
stain
off
is
of
on the
the
porch.
porch.
Yeah, there's a dark stain right there on it. Looks like that's where it was.
Okay. So, yeah, I would like to remove that other one.
Yeah.
And then we looked at windows. I've read your recommendations. I know you're not a fan of the standing seam over that front porch. I do love that idea.
I'm sorry, do you like the what?
The
the metal
front
roof.
porch where it flattens out, I would love to do a bronze or a copper standing seam.
Outstanding seam.
See, again, the thing with these houses, I mean, mostly they were out rural, people would clear the land, get the stone, they'd buy a few brick to get the corner square, and they were more of a rural type house, but not like farmhouses, but they were pretty common. And simple was kind of the norm. I mean, they were not, if they're digging rocks up in the ground and putting on the face of it, they're not spending a lot of money on them. And I think, I don't know, I just think, to me, shingles with the rest of the house, I assume you're gonna re-roof it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's in great
Yeah.
shape. I just think that's more in keeping with to say simple, it's not simple, like,
Right, I mean, my
just-
husband would prefer the savings, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm just-
sure. Well, I'll side with him then, even though you, but no, I just, my idea would be that to stay with shingles and not kind of gild it up, and that stuff's appropriate lots of places. And I'm not against that, it's just that I think in this case, it might be a little bit of an overkill, for this house. It's the house more than the look or whatever, but that's my thought. I'm not.
Well, I would think the standing seam roof could get kind of busy, because you've got a lot of busy already with the rock and the brick.
Yeah, it could. I'm just going to put on material and where it goes, where that house ends up settling, it's going to be, I think, a little overkill, like I said. Do it.
For me, I think it needs to stay original because, we just addressed the middle, so.
Well,
that's-
and if
Right.
there was metal, would that keep it from being contributing?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. That's the,
But
I
it
mean,
needs
need to
stay
hang
we're-
on
and
to
again,
that.
we're not, having to hold it to the absolute contributing idea, but something like that, it's, I just think it's, for that house, it's a little much for its style and original intent, if you will. And then it would also lead to being contributing later, but that's
Yeah,
not, I'm
there-
not using that as a guiding thing, it's just that help.
The reason I had mentioned Silas Owens is not necessarily that it would ever get included in the
Right,
district.
right, it may not.
It was more just that is a significant builder, unique African-American builder to that
Historically
time and that place that
significant.
is, in this, tied to Faulkner County. So that's something that makes it relatively unique. That is why I mentioned that.
Yeah, so, straying from the original, I don't want to endanger it with if the state, I mean, it may benefit you guys, if the state decides to recognize it in some way, shape, or form, that it has been modified to a point where it's kind of, again, not that you do a bad job, it just mean that, you know, it just, if we can stay with original, let's stay with original on that.
I'm
Okay?
fine with that.
Okay.
Do you think it would look?
Tell him I saved him some money. Okay?
Yeah, he's gonna be okay with that.
Well, and I was gonna say, the next piece of that is, are the wrought iron, the columns.
Yes.
I know you proposed doing some timber type columns, and were you gonna paint the columns that you
Well,
put in?
I have a better picture. I didn't supply the picture that was provided, so.
Okay.
May I approach?
Yeah, yeah.
So I
It's-
just want to do just a slight rounding.
Yeah.
If you look on page 14, there's a picture of the house across the street. And it originally looks like it had columns, well, it still has columns, but I think they probably enclosed that front porch. I was wondering, and I drove around and looked at some other houses that were similar in style, and none of them had anything like the wood
Yeah.
columns. They all had brick or brick and rock. And I was wondering if you might do something like that to tie it back into the original materials of the house instead of adding, I mean,
I would think that would be hard to find, you know, the brick that's around the windows right now, I feel like are skinnier than normal, so I almost think that would get busy to add a
Yeah.
different.
Okay, coming out of left field, especially for me, you know, the typical wrought iron columns we see on people's houses, they had wood columns on these bungalows, that, you know, the craftsman style bungalows, and a very slick metal salesman back in the, you know, 50s and 60s. The columns were rotting. It was like putting siding on a house. You don't have to paint it anymore. And but these are a step up from the normal with that, they kind of make, you know, the arch kind of thing there. And I'm actually, with the way that porch is, unless you see some marks on the porch itself, the concrete, it's on, and the time this was built, it almost could be original. I'm not swearing by it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. And honestly, there's an elegance to those, not the way they are right now. They're kind of cruddy right now. But I'm just just talking about it. There's something, I don't know, there's something that kind of doesn't disgust me about those columns when normally they do, because, you know, they're always too light, too small for the porch they're on, because they just, you know, that they replaced some old wood columns that were rotting, and that was it. But I don't, again, not knowing the original stuff, we don't know how it was built, if that was there, but, and, you know, short of seeing some history on the slab itself, you know, I'd be hard pressed to say that, unless it was some wood columns. I honestly don't think it was brick columns, and I just can't see the way that wraps are on that one end, on that, towards that, I guess, a bedroom, whatever. I don't know, I think you'd see more marks from something that was there, so I don't think it was brick.
Well, yeah, and you can even,
Is that
I mean, the
original?
bottom, the rock on the porch, right, Steve? I mean, even if it was brick, if you look at, you know, what we talked about before across the street, that goes all the way down to the
Yeah, I know,
ground,
I
the
know.
brick, so there's no way.
Exactly,
Yeah.
I just think this one was different than the one across the street. I'm not throwing an opinion out there either way, other than there's some leeway.
What kind of
There's that-
shape are they in?
I mean, you know, they can be
Yeah, I
black-
mean, I
sandblasted and
don't remember
painted.
that they're, I mean, I can't see from the picture, and
and I'm not gonna say those are beautiful ones. Oh, yeah.
Because I've got a house and it has those, and they're about to come apart. I mean,
Yeah.
I've painted and tried to Rust-Oleum and sandblasted, and
This
so-
is the house behind Nikki's house.
Okay,
And it has just simple wood columns.
yeah, okay. And again, I wasn't lobbying to keep them. I'm just, you know,
Yeah,
to me, I don't think it's an obvious thing that there were brick and stone columns,
And it would become
but.
a lot cheaper too.
Well, yeah, and you know, some wood columns, you know, but not, I don't, you know, we're talking about minimum 8 inches, that, I wouldn't go more than that, because that's not a big porch. It's not a big presence of a porch there, you know, so, that was a lot to say to really not say much.
So what's our final word on the
Well, I wasn't
mean,
offering a final word, I was
I
just
mean,
talking.
Nikki, I think it's your choice. I mean, I think those
Yeah.
meet the guidelines, but I think I appreciate everybody's commentary that you could use
and I
those,
will
you could
consider
keep
it.
those if you want.
Yeah, I will definitely consider it. I mean, to me, what I proposed there went with, the metal,
Right, sure,
you
sure.
know, just dressing it up.
Yeah.
And so now that that's off the table,
Yeah.
I'll certainly revisit to
Yeah.
see if these are functioning, because I don't hate them. It just, to me, the whole, story changed
Yeah,
now
Yeah.
that I'm not doing
Sure.
so, I mean, I can,
yeah,
It's a style choice, and I think if you keep them and make them look nice, it would be certainly a lot cheaper than doing.
yeah, I mean, and again, it's not necessarily
Cost.
our job to save you money, but it's the things like that. We try not to do things that cost you money, so I mean, that, just because,
Right.
but still, I didn't mean to mix it up, but I just, of any that you see, those are interesting, more so than others, and I'm not a fan of that kind of column, but these kind of have a little extra punch to them, but, yes, ma'am.
so if we can just say, what again, I'm not opposed to keeping them, but if I get over there and they are rotted, what's my, the other?
That-
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not, by saying I think they may be okay, I'm not saying they've got to stay. I'm just
Okay.
meaning, explore it like you're wanting to do. And
Okay.
that's a,
What you have here is fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds great.
you've got, let's see, the recommendations? Are you good with that, or you talked about the roofing on the porch, that's actually number
Yeah,
3,
that's
talking about,
number one.
staying the same. So otherwise, is everything okay?
I think so. I printed off what I had, and I didn't bring all my pages, but I'm wanting to rip off that what's been added on to the house. I think that's
Oh.
really,
With the jalousie windows
uh-huh.
on the back.
Oh, come on. I'm kidding.
So
Wow.
that's coming off, and,
Okay.
it's got the rock behind it.
Right. Well, that was added later.
Yeah.
It's a porch, yeah, sure. Okay.
So the modifications that I've got here, based on discussion, number one, windows may be replaced with 1/1 style
Right.
windows. Large front window may have a single pane window. Require 8-inch wood columns for the front, if replaced, require 8-inch wood columns for the front porch with an allowance for arched fascia.
Yeah, I'm all for columns of size, not little skinny things. But this little porch, 8 that'd probably be fine. I was gonna, 8's fine, never mind. I was gonna say 6. 6 might be, so that might get, it's getting, 8 would be proportional, I think it'd be okay. Because what's there is kind of wider than 8 inches, I'm sure, but that's, never mind. I had coffee before I came tonight. I usually don't do that. Never mind. So, okay, were you through?
All the rest stay the same.
Yeah, we had no modifications or everything else, so we good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm just
Uh,
curious, Nikki, on that front window with the, what are those things called?
Awning?
Yeah, but like, were you gonna keep that awning?
No, she's taking
That's
it off.
on my recommendations too.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
not on the list to keep, but I'm not gonna encourage.
that.
Well, again, that was added law, I mean,
I figured it was going away, but I
Yes.
was trying to look through while we were talking, I didn't see anything about it, so I was.
Yeah, and I don't know if it made it on, but yes, I had removed the remaining
Okay. I
on.
just missed it when I was reading
okay,
through.
yeah, okay. All right. Well, we've got,
I'll motion to approve, with the edited recommendations, for recommendation 1
and,
and 2.
okay.
I second.
Okay, motion is second. Any other discussion? We're good with the modifications, everybody? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, well, that's I guess that's our public hearing. Now we just have information. That's the end of our public hearing portion. Tonight, we have a presentation tonight from a siding company to give us another option on our requirements we've got. And I'm honestly don't know that I know the name, but I've not seen the material, so I'm curious to see it. But, yeah, if we can just start saying composite siding instead of hardy board, and we can just cover everything, that'd be great. But, and if,
Wait.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah,
give
yeah,
it to him.
yeah, do that. Just-
I'm Kathy Bowman, Premium Siding Supply. My address is 4825 Stockton Road in Nottingham. This is Robert Howard that's with us, and he is from the supplier, our supplier of the Everlast. I brought him for technical reasons. If y'all
You
have
are,
technical
okay.
questions, you
Sure,
can ask
sure.
him. I think y'all went and looked at some houses that we showed y'all that had it on there, and I understand that the trim was your main concern, because the ones you looked at had vinyl trim, and I know in the historical district, no vinyl.
Right.
You can trim this siding with smart side, with hardy.
Other siding products.
With lumber, anything. You
Okay,
can trim it with
okay.
anything. It does not void the warranty or anything.
Okay.
But we just wanted to give, some of our contractors have asked that we get it approved.
Sure.
And so this is why we're bringing it to you. We feel like it is a good product. We sell Hardy, we sell Smart Side,
Okay.
we sell it all.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're just trying to get you to change over to us.
Sure,
to
well,
use
it's
something.
adding to the list.
We just want to add it to
that's
the
fine.
list if
I mean,
possible.
For us, options for the homeowners are best, because we, you say just hardy board, and everybody's like, it's ABC, whatever, so. About the trim, do y'all make trim products? I
We
mean, pieces
do.
that can be used as trim? Understanding, I mean, like I said, you can use other maker
Yes.
stuff, but you have that option too.
They make various sizes. I understand from the earlier presentations that a lot of the houses around here have wide trim.
Uh-huh,
So they make a variety of
Okay.
sizes of trim
okay.
to allow for.
Here's a sample piece, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you
Okay.
can, okay. And I may be asking a dumb question, but when we say composite, what is it composed of?
Robert?
Basically, it's an advanced
Robert.
polymer combined with inorganic minerals like basically like marble. It's pulverized marble that's combined with.
And is this a solid piece, or is that a?
That maintains the stability of the product, so it
Okay.
doesn't expand and contract like vinyl siding would.
Okay,
But it also gives it, the polymers give it a maintenance-free
sure.
aesthetic, I guess.
Okay.
And that's the big thing nowadays.
You might want to show them this, because those samples they have are just pieces.
Yeah.
And this is how it's put together.
Yeah, that's why I was interested.
Oh, it's good. They have, over here we don't, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Here's this.
Well,
Well, I meant it to be, to rotate around.
yeah, they hogged us though. You can put it down, you guys. Your face was turning red. Okay. Oh, you got one.
I mean, just not being an expert on this, James, as far as like in your world, are you familiar with this product?
Just from discussions with
Okay.
them. We had to drive all the way to Russellville to see one, which, on that, it was trimmed with vinyl, so
Right.
it looked like a vinyl sided house.
Yeah.
But it's more like a hardy. It's a hard surface, like hardy.
Samples of the different.
I don't.
This is the LP Smart Siding, this is the Hardy, and this is the Everlast. As far as the wood grain and texture, the big difference is with these wood-based or cement-based products, they absorb moisture. And as you all know, moisture noticed in one of the pictures that the plywood sheathing was already molded.
Oh, I know, it had to be just put it up
They're
and
probably
mold.
gonna have problems years down the line if they don't replace that.
Yeah.
Whereas the Everlast is similar in texture, in color, but it doesn't absorb moisture.
Yeah, sure. This is a general comment, not to Everlast or whatever, but everybody does it, even vinyl siding. I have never put wood siding up that had raised grain. You know, this is just me complaining to the air, not to,
Right,
you know,
smooth.
it's smooth. And when it's raised grain, that means you've lost the good wood, you know, the soft wood, and the hardwood's still there, and needs to be sanded. And that's just, I'm an architect, and that just, for me, has driven me crazy. Years, I mean, you know, it's just amazing, but
On the trim pieces.
that's not a, yeah. So, you know, that form was smooth, like, you know, this is me, you know, all three are combined here in this complaint. It just, anyway, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but.
Is your products used in the other historic districts in other cities that you are aware of? Any historic other districts using your products or the vinyls in other cities?
Cape Cod in Maine, in Massachusetts, they have authorized this to be used in historical renovations. The Stockade Historical District in Schenectady, New York has authorized it. And you guys were talking about gutter before. They actually have Douglas fir wood gutter, functioning Douglas fir wood gutter on houses that I think there's 2 people still in the city that make it for when it needs to be replaced on some of these houses. It's kind of a neat product. But, trying to think down here, not to my knowledge, most of the housing authorities in the area have approved it, like Newport and Batesville have approved it for their,
You said Heber Springs had approved.
housing. But as far as down here.
It's a
there haven't been-
relatively new,
It's new in the
product.
South. It actually came out in 2007, and it was strictly made by a company called Chelsea Building Products and distributed solely through Norandex. Norandex went out of business and was bought by ABC Supply.
No, it would require.
So it was kind of stuck in the Northeast for a long time, and just within the last 6 or 7 years, they've expanded to the Southeast and Northwest as far as distribution.
So I have a question. So best practices for Hardy or the other is to have that 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch gap back there and have it, what does this require? Does it require the same thing?
1/4 inch.
Okay,
1/4
1/4
inch.
inch.
It's designed to expand,
So do you have a product for that or just,
basically these pockets,
we'll do that? That's what I'm wondering, if that would do that.
these pockets
We'll do that.
will do that.
So you don't have to do the extra step, it'll do that. I'm about to build a house, so this is like really interesting to me. Yeah,
Yep, there's no special tools required to cut it. There's no special face masks that you have to wear, like I know with the Hardy siding now, they require respirators when you're cutting it. There's no harmful chemicals, Class B fire rated.
so no allocating, basically, you know.
That's the fibers and stuff.
I mean, I would be curious to see what the Arkansas Historic Preservation thinks about. I mean, I just don't feel like I have the knowledge to say yes, no. But I appreciate all of the information, and from what I've heard, I feel good about it, but.
Well, no, I was going to make a motion that we
Well, we're not, we're just.
Yeah, I
we
think
could
we're just,
table
this is
this and-
informational.
Yeah, and not to do research on our own.
No, yeah,
before.
we need, no, we're just.
But this is
it's a
very cool,
presentation. We
yeah.
don't have to vote on this.
Okay.
Because
It's
I've
just
never heard of this product.
Presenting to us, because it's gonna take a, change to the
Thank you.
ordinance to add
Yeah.
it to it. We can't-
Right.
we can't do
Yeah,
that.
that's
You know,
what
that's,
Tommy-
this
Yeah.
is first piece, we'll, you know.
Because
staff
as
will do
written,
some
it's,
stuff.
wood and fiber cement, is that correct, James? The way that the products we have
cementitious
approved,
or
or
whatever,
brick or
however it's called,
whatever,
yeah.
yeah. But we don't have a composite.
Right.
That's the term we would have to include.
Yeah, we can't just, okay, we'll use it for now. It has to be put into the ordinance.
Well,
It has to be
Yes.
on
Yes.
there,
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, we could, first off, thank y'all for coming, and you know, it's something to look at. I think staff may do a little more, getting stuff for us. We have two that aren't here tonight too as well. So we want everybody to hear it and see it, but,
And I'll be honest, the trim, that's a new, I didn't realize that it could be trimmed with things other than vinyl.
yeah.
That has been
makes it-
my,
that changes
Well,
a
you
little
know,
bit.
contractors like to do the least expensive.
Yes.
Sure,
And so if it's not in a historical district, they use the vinyl trim.
oh, sure. Yeah.
Because it doesn't bother the warranty on Everlast. You can
Right.
trim it with whatever you want to trim
Okay.
it with.
Okay,
In fact, in Jonesboro, they have an ordinance now that multifamily dwellings are not allowed to use vinyl siding anymore because they find that the people that do the lawns or
yeah, they're a maintenance
correct the
issue.
corners
Yeah, it's a,
and stuff like, so they just, or a storm comes and a piece blows off and it stays blown off for months and months and months.
mhm,
So they've actually outlawed for multifamily
yeah,
dwellings in Jonesboro.
I know
yeah,
that.
okay. Okay, well, I appreciate y'all's presentation and y'all coming tonight. But like I said, we've gotta look at it and get particulars from staff and just, so we know what we're dealing with. And then whatever we do goes to, like I said, it has to go to city council, doesn't it?
Sure, and I
Change the
appreciate y'all
ordinance, yeah.
letting us come. I'm gonna give
Yes,
y'all
ma'am.
cards.
Okay, sure,
And if any of y'all have questions.
that's not a problem.
Thank you.
If I can't answer it,
Thank you.
Yeah, well,
I just, I'm on the company.
sure, no, you're fine, you're fine.
Yeah, give me some more to give to the other.
Yeah, let's give you a couple, yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
And I,
So
as far as
there,
historical, they actually fine-tuned some of the colors for the Northeast when they first came out with it.
sure, go for the context. Yeah, I get that.
Vermont is this color.
Yeah, right, I got you.
But if y'all have any questions, just
Yes, ma'am.
please call
No, that's no problem. We'll-
And
Again,
thank y'all for letting us present it to you.
well, you're welcome. Thank you
Yeah.
for
Thank
being
you.
patient.
Learned
and
something
waiting.
new
No, you don't
tonight.
have- you don't have to
Thank
pay me, that's okay.
I would like your card though, yes.
Okay. He'll be in contact. He'll just get all, yeah, thanks, sir. It's all cash.
And there's actually gonna be a technical rep in the area next week, visiting basically designers, architects, at this.
I pulled it out of one of those.
more often,
Sure.
At least residential.
Well, I'm building a SIP panel house.
What's that?
A SIP panel house, structurally engineered panel house. So the way this connects is really interesting to me.
This is
'Cause-
also, this lap siding, they show the 8-inch. It's also available in a 4.5-inch
Yeah.
product. And I noticed a lot of the pictures here were the narrower
Yeah,
cupboard.
yeah, and that's what
type siding. Yep, it's a cedar,
The narrower, does the narrower have the wood grain?
same wood, yes.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, again, thank y'all.
Thank y'all very much.
Appreciate it.
You.
Okay, I guess does that wrap us up? That's the last one. Oh, no, it does not wrap us up. We're gonna amend our bylaws, so
Right.
I don't get
You
all.
can't vote on the bylaws amendment tonight.
Because we have to have everything.
No, it has to sit for
Oh, that's right, this is just
10
presentation.
days and then.
This is the presentation, then we,
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so we can vote on it next week, or next month.
next month, yeah.
So
we're
if you have any comments on bylaws, or
Just-
any changes or anything that you'd like to see, let me know.
Okay, so right now, what's proposed for next time is changing our quorum to 4, which is a majority of 7, where it's still in the books at 5 when we had 9. So
Right.
we're gonna, and I wouldn't have gotten so crazy last
Want me
week.
to leave these samples?
We've got, I know I've got some of those, you know.
I think, plenty.
I would
Yeah.
like to have one little one for myself to take to, just this, I know what those are.
We got some people,
And it is on the side of our office if any of you want to see it.
okay,
Structure here.
Where's your office? On the business park?
36 Bronny Lane, you know where the Baptist Hospital is? We're right in the corner, the freeway,
okay,
we're across the street from the hospital.
okay. All right, thank y'all. Yep,
Did you guys have anything on the agenda for the 500 block on Oak Street? We had signs around the block.
is that
I was
coming,
wondering
Kevin?
why they were here.
Is that coming?
Yeah, no, that was, they did not get the application materials back in time, so that application will be moved till next month.
Yeah, was that come and go?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
coming.
it was tabled from last time because they didn't meet our, they just didn't, so we thought we'd be seeing them, but instead, they didn't have to notify people, just kept it the same, and then they didn't make it in, so then we're not here. So that. Oh, I see. Well, as far as we know, if they're still going to do it, I mean, they should be here next month, at the, the fourth, Monday of the month, but there's no notification process because they've been tabled. So if y'all want to check in with the planning office.
Before you come to the meeting.
Yeah, I would
we'll-
just recommend calling the planning
Yeah.
department like the Thursday or Friday
But-
before the next meeting and just say, hey, is this on the
They
agenda?
will, they got us the
They-
materials.
Oh, so the
Oh,
materials
okay, I didn't
came
know.
in but late, so they didn't get on this agenda.
Yes, we're trying to move to another building.
Gotcha,
That's why I'm saying
gotcha.
we can move out or stay where we're at.
Yeah,
Well, apparently they'll be on the agenda next
Yeah, and I mean,
month, so.
Them building is probably, I'm sure is gonna happen, we just have to, they have to
Well,
have
the
a.
landlords that have the building, they don't even act like anything's happening.
Okay.
I'm sorry y'all had to sit through
Yeah,
all
sorry
this
about
for
that.
nothing.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna be on tonight too, and they get here and they weren't, so. Yeah.
Sorry
Well,
about that.
thank y'all. No, I hope you enjoyed it. It was-
Well, it's really informative.
Knowledge is a good thing, It's good. Thank y'all. Sure, well, let's adjourn, and then we'll just chat. Okay, so, if we're done, are we done? I need a.
Just please
Oh.
read them carefully.
The bylaws?
I sent both versions. There are changes other than quorum in there.
Okay.
So,
Okay, I'm sorry, I just glossed over it. All right, yeah, everybody read the bylaw stuff, and we'll vote on that next time, correct? Okay, so,
I motion to adjourn.
okay,
A second?
all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. Yes, what? Y'all can just come up here if you want, it's not a meeting anymore, we're
You
just
left
chatting.
all this stuff. I can't believe they left all this stuff.
I know, and
Oh, my
it's
God.
vinyl siding is all it is. Yes, ma'am, you're fine.